welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachael
and Neil Youngs. We're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachael and Neil Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Hey, come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that?
Hey!
Hey!
Rach, who do you love?
HD Photo Hub.
Today's episode is brought to you by HD Photo Hub.
The platform real estate photographers trust.
And so do we, because Rach and I both use it on a daily basis. Check it out. Check it out.
Check it out. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of our Summer Series podcast. We have two of my team members here with me today. We have Colin, who is my original first shooter out the gate, and Alex, who has been with me a little over a year now. So I am very excited to dive in. We just want to get the perspective of what it's like to be a second shooter and working on a team and hear it from their mouths. Because I know we talk about this a lot, but we never really talk to the actual shooters themselves. So Colin, I'm excited you're here. Thank you for coming on. This is your first time on the podcast.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Yes. So why don't you go ahead and just tell us your story, Colin? Like, let us know when you started in photography, how you kind of got looped into the real estate photography world, and how we met.
So I've been doing like video and photo for 10 to 15 years now. I started with video editing and video back in like high school. But I didn't get into the photography side until I actually started doing real estate, which I started my business in 2020. I've known my friend Chris Niebauer, that's a real estate photographer, and he had me do a couple shoots for him like early 2020, and then he was moving out to Montana. So that's when he recommended me to you or something like that.
Yeah,
and that's
he sold me his client list when he moved.
Yeah.
And then you came with that list. He was like, I have a shooter, Colin. I'm like, perfect, because I'm going to need it. I am maxed out.
Yeah. So it was really convenient timing essentially for everything that just kind of like fell into place for that. So I've been doing it since early 2020 now. And I'm really thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been really fun to have you on the team too, Colin. Like, we've been through a lot together because we survived COVID, which was absolutely bonkers. We both were shooting like 5 days a week. I don't know, the longest days ever, 12 hours.
Yeah,
it was insane.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Colin will call me. He's like, my internet's out. Can I come to your house? I'm like, yeah, come over. Upload at my house.
Oh yeah, that's a wonderful story about that recently.
Yeah, that's always fun. So anyways, it's been great having you on the team. It's been like, you've just been a great asset. So I appreciate you.
It's been a very fun time.
Yeah. Sometimes I make mistakes and make you drive to the wrong city and then sit in traffic, but we won't talk about that. All right. And then we have Alex here with us. So Alex, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself? Same thing. When you got into photography, when you got into real estate, how we met. And
yeah, my name is Alex, and I've been doing real estate for 2.5 years full time. I've been doing kind of in the same world, but more with architectural photography for about 7 years. And I mean, I've been shooting for over 20, almost 25 years, kind of into photography. Been shooting with Rachael now for 1.5 years or so. And we met because she was on the Shooting Spaces podcast over 1 year ago and was like, I need help. If anybody out there wants to be a shooter for me, reach out. And I gave her a call like that day and was like, let's meet.
I was like, I'm tired. Can we just maybe have a Zoom call? And he's like, let's just get coffee. It'll be really quick. And I'm like annoyed. I'm like, oh, fine. And I went and we spent like, I don't know, an hour and a half chatting. It was a long meeting, but it was great. Yeah. We hit it off, Alex. I was like, this guy's great. He's driven, he wants to learn. Like, I love when I meet a shooter or a potential shooter who has just a passion for photography and just wants it, and wants to learn. Like, they're hungry. That's one of the number one things that I look for. I've had quite a few shooters now that I've tried to bring on board, and like, I'll reach out and be like, hey, can you come to a shoot on this date or that date? But if they're not driven and like trying to track me down and trying to ask questions and emailing me, and like on it, I'm just kind of gonna let them go because they're not driven enough for what I need. Like, I need people that are in this because I take it very seriously, and this business is my baby. Like, I've grown it. It's like,
get it.
yeah. So yeah, it was cool to see your passion, and same with you, Colin. Like, you've been in it 100% since the day I met you. So cool.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind the past couple of years.
It really has. It's finally settling down. Don't you feel like it's like, I can breathe?
into a groove, kind of.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm finding this year, so last year I had, gosh, I don't know, we had like 5 or 6 shooters on the team, but we were doing a lot of just photos packages or just photos and drone. And this year we have less clients, but we have more clients ordering all of the services, or like 3 or 4 services, which is great. So I just prefer to do the works package on every job. Go and get it done, obviously.
Less travel time in between shoots.
Yeah, exactly. And then you spend more time in the house too. So you just, I don't know, I just enjoy those shoots more because there's more to it than just photos.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. So why don't you guys give us your Instagram handle? So if anyone wants to follow you guys on social, they can.
So I kind of have 2. My personal is Colin Farrell. It's exactly how you think it's spelled. Or Colin McAvoy Photography is my more business person or business Instagram. Awesome. I just need to post on there more often.
Yeah. And Colin, what do you do for fun?
I'm a snowmobiler in the winter, so it kind of works out perfectly for work all 6 days a week, 7 days a week during the summer, and then snowmobile a lot during the winter. And it's pretty fun. I post that on my personal Instagram a lot.
And you have a YouTube channel? Come on.
Yeah, true.
Tell the people.
I was forget about that. I just don't post on there enough I should post more on there. But I enjoy making those YouTube videos.
Yeah. What's your channel called?
Just Colin McAvoy, basically ColinMcevoy.
Awesome. You can spell. Love it. All right. And then Alex, what's your Instagram handle?
So I'm blueprint_media_.
Perfect. And you just rebranded.
I have to use a bunch of underscores, but it was the best I could do.
Yep. I know all the Instagram handles are taken. I changed my Rachael Ann app one. I wanted it to just be Rachael Ann. And of course that's taken. And I'm like, tried 3 or 4 different configurations. And finally I'm like, So anyways, we settled on Rachael_Ann_1122, which is my birthday. It's nice. Like, that'll work. Yeah. All right. So let's start with you, Alex. What is it? So when you come on board with a new team that you're working for and shooting for, which I know, Alex, you've shot for a couple different companies in the past in the Seattle area. So you have to adopt their shooting style so that you're shooting consistently. Tell me a little bit about the journey of learning a new shooting style and what that's like.
So I've actually still currently am a contractor for one other photography company. I basically do it so that I can work with one agent that I really enjoy working with. But when I started working with Rachael, to adopt a new shooting style, it's a little bit different for me because I have had a lot of experience in the past already, so I was a bit set in my ways. So trying to make the adjustments to shoot in a style a little bit different than what I've already become accustomed to is pretty difficult. When you're new and you're just kind of learning, it's a little bit easier to kind of make those adjustments as you go. But yeah, I mean, thoroughly annoying at first.
But would you just be honest?
Yeah, tell us how you really feel, Alex.
Well, she said I could, yeah.
No, we want it.
Tread lightly.
I mean, it is, though. It's tough because it's like you're really set in your ways and you're already kind of got a business going. You're like, all right, and So now you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna kind of work for somebody else because I need some extra money, and this is gonna be good. And then they're like, okay, well, yeah, your work's really good, but I need you to do it this way. And you're like, oh my gosh, okay, how am I gonna do that? So, but you do figure it out. And the great thing with working with you, Rachel, is that you're really easy to work with, flexible, like, and you educate in such a positive way that you don't make somebody else that's not quite doing what they need to do. Like, you don't make them feel bad or anything. You're just like, all right, so I love what you do, but if we can just like tweak this and that and this, then it's all good. So
I could say I thoroughly enjoyed the 6 a.m. messages on Facebook saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Because I wake up early and I look through the Dropbox folder of the edited
This is
photos,
wrong.
and I'm like, you should have moved the pillow. You should have done this. Should have done
No,
that.
I had
her
I had some
critiques
real
can
bad
be
ones
brutal.
lately.
Let me tell you, her critiques can be real brutal.
Just honest.
Deflate a
guys.
man in seconds.
It's my specialty. All right. Well,
that's funny. Yeah, it's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Way to start the day.
I know. Well, right? That's how I'm feeling. I'm like, shit, off to a good start. Here we go. No, everybody makes mistakes. And I just look at it like we're all learning. And I mean, there's a point after 3 times of telling you, if I have to ask you again, then I'm going to be really annoyed and I might be kind of bitchy about it. But
Yeah.
the first couple times, like, I get it. Like, I've been there. I've made so many mistakes for my clients and they've been so gracious. One of them, I don't think I've told this story on the podcast. I missed a whole entire basement. It said the house was 4,000 square feet and I shot it. I'm like, there's no way this is 4,000 square feet. This is like 2,500.
Oh, like a finished.
Yeah, like a finished basement, like 1,500 square foot, a finished basement. I even shot the backyard and you can see the windows into the basement from the backyard. I didn't even notice it. So I go home and she texts me. She's like, oh, did you get that great basement? And I was like, basement? Question mark. She's like, I'm going to need to go back. And it was everything, like stills, video, Matterport. I was like, okay.
I remember
she was
having
so kind to me. She was so gracious. She was like, no problem. So, and she has been one of those that's been with me since pretty much the beginning. And she's like that one client where I always make a dumb mistake and I have to fess up and it's so embarrassing, but she's always so nice about it. She's like, not a problem, like so gracious. So I've learned from her, but it goes, you get a lot more bees with honey, you know?
Oh yeah, I did that with a drone. Well, I missed a room that there was no stairs to get to it from the outside. So there was like a basement room, but you had to walk around back to it. And I remember the agent saying something about it when I was outside, but it was like shooting and it kind of went one ear and out the other. And so I figured, I'll just get it. She's like, oh, you can go in that door and get that room too, something like that. And I was like, I'll just get it once I'm inside. Cause I was working a certain operation. I'm like, I do all my exteriors first, then I go inside. Right. But little did I know there's no other way to get down there. And so once I was inside, I never came across a set of stairs. And so it just didn't, so I'm home and I see the drone shot and I'm like, wait, what's that door down? Oh my God. She even said something. I'm like, oh no, it was the worst. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's frustrating.
But we've been there.
Yeah. So Colin, you have a little bit of a different experience because you were not a real estate photographer before you met Chris, correct?
Exactly, yeah. I mostly did just like videos and stuff like that. Wasn't anything commercial. I did like a couple small commercial style videos for friends that have small businesses, but I really hadn't done much photography at all before I started doing photos for Chris.
How long were you working for Chris? It was like a year, right?
Oh no,
Almost
it was, I think I did probably 2 shoots for him in like 2019, and then I don't think I even hit 10 in the early 2020 before we switched over.
Wow. I didn't know you were that green.
Oh yeah. That's why everything was wrong all the time.
Make it till you make it.
Chris is like, he's really good. He needs a little bit of tuning up here and there, but he's great. I'm like, okay,
needed
cool.
a lot of
No
tuning.
problem. Here, take all my clients, please, to shoot for all my clients. You're great. That was such a wild time because there were so many orders coming in and at that time, I didn't have HG Photo Hub set up to where they can choose the photographer and the date and time. I'd just come home and there would be like 10 or 15 shoots that needed to be assigned to a date and time. So like we would fill up on a date and I'd still have 3 shoots that I needed photographers for. So I was just like calling people. I'm like, help me. Ah! And that's when I met Alex too. That's still how I was doing my business. Then I finally switched it and gave up that freaking control issue that I have. And its life has been so much better, I have to tell you. So if you're using HD Photo Hub, use that feature where they can pick the time, date, and the photographer. It's worked out great. So, so yeah, you didn't have to adopt to a new style. Do you shoot differently for your clients versus for Focus Media Collective?
Not really. It's mostly the same. I still will pull things here or there, move things around, stuff like that. It's almost pretty much identical with pretty much everything with how I shoot for my own clients versus Focus Media clients.
Awesome.
You use the same. Do you guys both use a? Oh no, I know Alex doesn't, but do you use HD Photo Hub for delivery or any other different softwares or anything like that?
I definitely use HD Photo Hub just because the biggest thing is getting paid, and they cannot get photos until they pay.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the biggest things for us that I hear a lot of in just any sort of small businesses.
Yep.
Totally. Yeah.
Yep.
And it just keeps you organized. I know before I
Mhm.
used HD Photo, I think I implemented HD Photo Hub in 2019, I think. But before I just put the shoot date in my calendar and that was it. I wrote like what it was, stills, drone, video, whatever. And with the influx of clients coming in 2020, there's no way it would have been a disaster. So yeah, it saved my bacon for sure.
And Alex, you use different software for your own client, or
Yeah,
are
I'm
you?
using Aria.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Alex has to leave in 15 minutes because he has a client or something he has to meet with. So I'm going to run through these questions that I have with Alex, and then we'll run through the same questions with Colin, but Alex is going to dip out a little early. So, Alex, what is it like having your own business and working as a second shooter?
I think it's awesome. I think the ability and flexibility to have if if my business is slow and I can pick up shoots from you to kind of fill in the gaps. Yeah. I think
Would
it's
you
awesome.
recommend that for someone else who is just trying to get ramped up? Maybe they have some other part time and they're trying to get ramped up to full time.
Yeah, because you're like, so I'm majority, 98% of my time is spent focused on my business. I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty busy week in and week out. But if you're new and you don't have a client base, obviously like learning from somebody else, starting with somebody else first, and then build your business slowly as you're, making money, learning from somebody else, somebody that's been doing it a long time. Definitely would recommend shoot for as many people as you can until your schedule gets so busy that you can't take those on. It's easier to say, hey, I'm too busy instead of like,
Instead of starving.
Yeah.
well, yeah, there's that too.
Not paying your bills. Okay, what are some of the pros and cons of being a second shooter?
Well, pro is you got to go out, shoot the house, get home, deliver the media, and you're done.
Mhm.
So there's, your hands off with the client, hands off with the delivery. There, it's not as much work involved in that aspect, which is kind of nice. Con, can't really think of one right now.
You have to get emails from Rachael at 6 a.m.
Messenger going ding.
There really isn't a bad thing. I guess it depends on your situation, but there really isn't technical con for working with somebody else, but the fact that you're working for somebody else. So you have to do what they say, you have to follow their instructions, you have to shoot their style. You can't really go too far off of what you want to do. So it could make it challenging in that way. But
Yeah, and if you're someone who's just can't follow instructions like that, then it's probably not the gig for you, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
What about what training process that I've implemented with us has worked the best for you? Like, what's the best way that you learn?
I mean, for me, best way that I learn is hands-on. When you take shooters out in the very beginning and you have them shadow you and then you shadow them and you kind of like do the in-person training. I think that's the best way for most people to learn, definitely for me. But I do like that you have a lot of things structured in documents that you can send people for them to kind of go through, which is extremely helpful. But in this, yeah, I mean, with photography, it's got to be hands-on. And I think for most people, that's going to be the way, you know, the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. And you came on when we were super busy, but I was able to go out to a couple shoots with you and walk through and like you did you did the Matterport and I did photos or something like that, or we kind of switched off on different, and then I kind of just walked through and showed you the angles that I would do, and camera height was a big one that I remember we had to adjust and stuff. There was something else I was
Yeah,
gonna
was
say.
I too low?
Yeah, you were shooting too low, and it was on a lake, so there was a bunch of views.
Right,
So
right, right. Yeah,
you
now
shoot
the
higher when
funny
there's a
thing
lake.
is I have for my own shooting style, and now I don't even think of it, but a lot of the things, the little things that I do now are
Hmm.
because of the things that you critiqued. So like now I shoot like almost chest height for a majority, except for the kitchen. It's like, you know, raise that thing up.
Hmm.
And then speed. Actually, you really helped me on
Being
getting
faster.
faster.
Yeah, because I'm like, you need to be in and out in 25 minutes. It's 4,000 square feet. Ready, go. Just kidding.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm like
crazy.
freaking out, like, I don't know if I can do this. She's like, you got it, you got it, you can do this. Come
Is
on, you
she?
got
Were there
three
any
shoots
like
today.
specific techniques she told you, or is just practice of just getting quicker?
Well, it was a lot of encouragement. You gotta get faster, Alex. You gotta get faster, you gotta get faster.
Did she
Sometimes
hop
she
in?
took
Did she
me
ever
like
hop
three
in the
shoots back
car?
to, yeah,
Hop in the car and go like, "You've got 10 minutes, and then this ride leaves."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, it was flow too, like
Hmm.
knowing the shots that you need to get, like the kitchen, all four corners,
Mm,
one down the alley if you need to, or one detail if you need to, right? And then knowing like 2 to 3 in the living room, like
yeah,
I think knowing the flow and what you
yeah.
need to shoot, and then when you go down a hallway, stay to the right, like shoot all the rooms on the right hand side, then come around and do the other side, so you're always going in the door to the right, so you don't miss a room. That makes it quicker for me too.
Yeah.
Just
That's how
knowing.
Hmm.
you get out of a labyrinth as well. Just in case you guys didn't know, always turn the same direction over and over until you get out. That's right.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it has to be left or right, but yes, that's how you get out.
Do you do that for the entire house? I'm just curious.
No,
The whole like go and go right, 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 all the way through.
no, just hallways.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do a similar thing when I do the Kubicasa floor plans. I
Mm,
do the same thing
That I
especially
do.
because it's a little deja vu if you've already done photos, and
hmm.
it's easier to miss something. I feel like so. Yeah, just turn into the room and go around, and then go to the next one. Just keep going
Yeah.
the same direction. Yeah,
Yeah, just follow the baseboards all the way around the
mm,
house. Yeah,
yeah, because it's so easy to miss a room if you don't. If you do some all of a sudden go across and then across the other side, and then you miss one somehow. But
totally, totally.
yeah,
Okay, so in-person training is the way he learns best, which yeah, I agree. Most people probably learn best that way. But Alex, when you came on, it was really busy and you were doing your own shooting and then you were shooting for another company too. So you had the idea like we need some documents that tell like a shooter checklist, so you helped me kind of create that for my
Yeah.
business too, which was
Hmm.
great. So it just said like one of a regular bedroom, unless there's something extraordinary about it to show, like 2 to 3 in the master, one of every bathroom, stuff like that. So like 3 angles of the front of the house, and then it listed the angles. So it just gave you like a little checklist that you could go through just as a reminder, especially for Alex, because I mean, 3 different companies he's shooting for. That's kind of a lot.
Yeah. Plus, I'm hella ADHD, so trying to keep all that in your brain.
Yeah, there's that.
Wait, who am I shooting for today?
why is Alex off in the woods? What is he? What?
Oh yeah, he was shooting for that other company.
No, that legit happened.
Shooting right next door, just running back and forth.
Oh yeah. That would be great, actually. Just 2 in one neighborhood,
Yeah.
different companies. Yeah. All right. What kind of systems do we have in place at Focused Media Collective that have helped make your job easier as a second shooter?
Okay, so I guess yeah, you shoot the house, come home, upload the images. I usually go through and delete all the, if I reshot something or something didn't, whatever, delete those and then upload them to so Dropbox structure is you have your kind of photos folder and video folder, and then in photos you have like the month and then the day, and then you're gonna create like an address folder, and then all your images kind of go into that. So that whole folder structure is something that I kind of talked to you about in the beginning because I think it was a little bit different. Yeah, and then just copy paste the link and send it to the editor.
Yeah, we send them, we use Facebook Messenger to communicate with our editor. So the whole team is on that messenger string. So we copy and paste that Dropbox link to the editor when they're done uploading. So that signal, because the editor pops in the Dropbox folder and he's like, hey, is this job done? And he'll ping whoever is on that job. So we title each Dropbox folder with the client's first name, the address, and then the shooter's initials so that we know who shot that house.
Oh, that's smart. Now, did the shooters put a doc in there with like, hey, there's this many files and here's any odd notes or anything like that?
No, we don't do any
No
kind
notes
of
at
like
all?
information sheet.
No.
If there's any notes on the house, they'll copy and paste the link into the messenger chat and then give notes instructions right there. Please remove the basketball hoop in front of the house or whatever. Stuff like that.
And what about if like a agent on site says to them, oh, the living room, we're going to want 2 virtual stages in there. Is that a messenger thing as well?
We use Slack to communicate as a team. So that's when we'd go in the job editing communication and ping Jan, my virtual assistant, and say, hey, this client wants 2 virtual staged images of the living room and the kitchen. We still haven't really come up with a perfect system for virtual staging yet. Like that's kind of a tough one because sometimes the clients want to wait till they get their photos back. Sometimes they tell the photographer on site, hey, I want to do the living room and the bedroom, these angles. And so then I do have, well, Colin, you do it sometimes. Colin doesn't like picking the furniture because I have this whole catalog where you pick out the furniture, which I don't blame you because there's like so many options. I should just only have ones in there that I love, but then there would only be like 5 options because they're all okay. They're good. They're just, anyways. Yeah, they could be better. But no, so a couple of our shooters now, I pay them extra and I just say, I'll pay you, a few bucks if you go in and order it and put it in. Because in the past, they just message me and be like, there's virtual staging. Then once the photos were uploaded, I'd have to open that folder, figure out which images are the best ones to virtually stage. At this point, it's like 9-10 o'clock at night. I'm like getting out of bed to go do it and then pick the furniture. I'm like, this is silly. Why do we guarantee photos back the next day by noon? Please tell me why.
Right.
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But that's our process. Yeah. And then within the Dropbox folder for that day, the editor creates a new folder he titles it done. And that's where all the edited photos go.
Right.
And virtual assistant starts working at like 6 a.m. uploading.
Yeah, it's a good structure. It's important to have the systems in place like that. That's consistent, the same over and over and over again. I mean, automation, as much as you can automate your business in this industry anyways, is key because time is money. So
Totally.
And do you have that all ironed out that like weekly or bi-weekly, the contractors, they send you an invoice for the work?
Yes.
And how do they figure that out? Do they go through HD Photo Hub and see their totals, or how do they do that?
Yeah, so they'll look back at their schedule for the week. We have a Google Drive. It's like the Excel sheets in Google Drive with the shooter payout for each. We charge by square footage, so it's a huge spreadsheet. It's ridiculous, but they can go in there and basically like Excel, like it's easier to just click on the number, and it adds it all up for you. So they'll send me a little spreadsheet with every shoot broken down that they did, and I pay out every week. So they usually send it to me on Friday or Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I just pay them over PayPal or Venmo, usually. So, or I mail Colin a check now.
PayPal doesn't like me anymore.
Yeah, I kicked him out. Okay, we have 2 minutes left with Alex. And Alex, I really want to know this. What's it like working for Rachael and being on the team?
terrible. Just kidding. No, I mean, working
Colin's
with you has
hiding.
been amazing. Yeah, I mean, the attention that you provide to your, I guess they're contractors or anybody that works for you, you're very personable, you're very encouraging and supportive. I don't know, yeah. It's been amazing. I mean, my business would not be where it is if it wasn't for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I love the idea that you're like, yeah, if you want to have your own business as well, obviously, you got to make sure to prioritize. And, if you're working for me, then make sure everything's hitting all the marks. But if you want to go and grow your own business, then you're extremely supportive with that. And I think that's huge, because I know there's a lot of photography teams where the owner of the business does not allow people to grow outside of theirs. So
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I want you guys to grow and do what you want to do, and if that's grow your business, like I'm here to help because I didn't have a whole lot of help growing mine in the beginning. And I wish I would have reached out to more people. I probably would have been a lot further, but I kind of did it on my own and went the hard route. So it's like if I can help you guys out in any way, I'm all here. I mean, it's hard because as a business owner hiring shooters, it's like if you guys go out and I help you grow your business, then you're going to leave me and I'm going to have to start all over with new shooters. You know what I mean? But we're in this network where I'm going to meet more photographers. You're going to know other people who want to start shooting. You
yeah.
could help me train them. You know what I mean? We now
Yep.
have this referral network where like Alex just sent me a job next week from one of his guys and he couldn't travel up. So he sent it to me. It's great. Like a lot of my shooters do that. We kind of pass them back and forth. And you're
Yeah.
like now a trusted partner with FMC. I know that I can send any of my clients to you and they're going to be taken care of really well. You're not going to try to poach my clients. Like you're not going to do them
Yeah.
wrong. And your systems that you have in place are pretty similar to mine. So it's not going to feel really foreign to my clients that when I send them to you.
Right. And those systems were created kind of because of you. Like, so
Because they work.
I mean, I'm just like this. Like, I'm gonna surround myself with successful people, and if there's something that I want to do, I'm gonna, find somebody that's doing it really, really well, and just emulate them until I can get to a point where I can kind of do it my own way, and that's basically where we're at. And there's no reason to leave. I mean, even if I get really busy, like, still want to be able to shoot for you. I got like, one next week for you.
I know
If
you
you're
don't do it a lot for me
anymore.
anymore. It hasn't been that busy because you kind of move territory. Like you don't come up as much. Alex, during the busy season, was coming up every week and shooting a whole day or 2 days for me. And now it's like we don't really need him to come up and do that, but he lives in
And I'm
our.
also twice as busy now down
I
here.
know.
So.
Yeah, which is good. It's good,
No,
right?
it's a good
It worked
thing,
out
yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Gave you
Very
that
good.
boost when you
That's
needed it, and now you're up and running. But when I have a job down in like Olympia, like 2 hours south, like I don't want to go down there. Colin doesn't want to go down there. So give it to Alex. It's perfect.
So it's
Perfect.
been amazing. It's been a blessing for sure.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you have been great. I'm glad you forced me to go to lunch with you. That's awesome. All right, it is 3:47, so you have to go.
Yay, gotta go do video.
Okay, where can people find you
Okay.
again? Tell them one more time your Instagram
Yeah,
handle
you can
if they
find
want
me
to
on
reach out.
Instagram at blueprint_media_. And then also if you want to, my for fun is taking landscape photography, nature stuff. And if you want to check out some pretty cool images there, you can find me at alex.farrell.photo.
Awesome.
Cool, man. Thanks so
Well, I
much for
appreciate
being on again.
everybody. Hope y'all have a great day.
Now we're going to interrogate Colin.
Cool.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye, Alex.
See you,
Bye.
Alex.
Rach, I'm sorry. I'm gonna interrupt for a second.
Goodness, Neil. Goodness. Fine. What do you have to say?
Okay. So I know we talked to you guys about this before, but I want to bring it up because we got a cool deal for you guys to help you guys out. I want to talk to you all about the marketing kit from H2 Photo, which Rachel and I both use, and we both upsell to make extra money with no extra effort on our part, zero zip. Besides, maybe if you want to set it up as something they can choose in their booking options to just buy it from you. But if you're not aware, this is a great way to make extra income is the marketing kit, which includes a dedicated website to a listing, includes social media templates, printable flyers, even a slideshow video that's made automatically off the stills that you upload to their gallery. So what you want to do is set it up and then add a little buffer on top of that, a little charge on top of that, so you make some income off of it whenever they buy it, which both Rachel and I do as well. And whenever somebody gets that, it's just like free money to me. I'm like, awesome. I made some money off of something that took no effort, right? And so I wanted to just bring it up real quick because we have a deal for you with a little promo code, right, Rach?
Yes, we do. And I use it. I give it for free when they order a works package. So like
That's a good
as
point,
just
too.
an extra add-on, and it doesn't cost me much extra, but it just gives them that incentive to buy that package. Like they're getting even more with that works package. And then I sell it for $50. It costs you 15 credits. and I charge $50 for it. So I'm making $35 for doing nothing. And so many of my clients absolutely love it, especially the printable flyers that are fully customizable. So if you guys want to try this out for yourself, you can get 50 free credits from HD Photo Hub by using the promo code STS, as in shooting the shit. Try it out today, guys. You'll love it.
Awesome.
Okay, back to the show. Okay.
And then there was one.
And then there was one. Are you ready for this?
I think so.
I'm like sweating in my house. It is so
Same here.
hot. I
Can you hear-
have
can
air
you hear my
conditioning.
AC?
I just need to turn it on. No,
Can you? Okay, good. I
don't
thought it was
think
kind
so.
of loud. Thank God.
No.
It's like 80 degrees inside, man.
I know. I'm like
Condo here.
fanning myself over here. I'm like, anyways.
I'm in a nice, cool basement.
Lucky you. Lucky you. We don't get warm weather very often, so it's very, out of the norm for us.
What's warm for you? Like, what's unusually warm?
Like 85 is warm.
Yeah, that's pretty warm.
Yeah. What do you
I've
think?
been
What would you
perfectly
say
happy
warm
with
is?
the weather lately?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can get, on occasion, it's 90s, and that's a lot,
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do have air conditioning. I just need to go lower it. I think I set it to like 78. Like, what's wrong with me? I thought I liked to be warm, but this is too warm. All right, back to the podcast. No more shooting the shit. Okay, so we're gonna go through the whole list with you, and I think if we can come up with any other good questions, Neil, that you think we could ask Colin that are a little different, because some of these could just be the same answer.
Oh, Colin. Yeah, Colin. So Alex had been on the show before, and I've met and talked with him before, but I've never talked. Colin, have I ever talked to you? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, I listened to the podcast a couple times, but I don't think we've ever chatted.
Okay. I hear about you, through conversations about things going on in the business. A lot of swearing usually when your name comes up. No.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I'm just kidding. No, usually all good things actually. But no, so I'm curious to know a little bit more too about, because what I think is really interesting about being an independent contract for someone like Rachael is that you have your own business, and that could be a very different kind of beast, not just in like shooting style, but maybe even services. And I don't even know. I mean, some people might focus on like video production, for example, but also do real estate shooting for somebody else. So I know that you had done some video stuff before, and I'm kind of curious to know kind of what you focus on, and is your business very different in like offerings and style and that kind of stuff? Or tell us a little bit about what you did then and what you do now.
So when I registered my business, I registered it as Colin McAvoy Productions because I was just going to focus mostly on video at the time. And that was in early 2020. I started it January 1st of 2020.
Oh, okay.
So I made the decision I wanted to go out on my own. I was working for different kind of career paths for 10 plus years. I hadn't stayed in the same job more than like a year and a half, I think, or something like that. And I was just at the end of my rope. I even have a little envelope from, I was going to be an electrician that my dad, he was an electrician for 25 years and had the JATC, I think it is, envelope that's here in Renton from them, like just to go apply or something like that. And I still have that envelope to remind myself I'm never going back to working for someone else. And I kind of just made that decision to go out on my own, basically. So, and then as far as like the video side, I learned video editing and basic video, like how to shoot video back in like high school. And then in, I think, late 2019, I downloaded a course called Full-Time Filmmaker. I love that course. It is well worth it for anyone that wants to do any type of video. It's I think I got it for like $400 when it was on Black Friday or something like that. So it was way worth it. It's more expensive now. Yeah, that course significantly helped me with everything for video, a little bit business. It has a lot to offer.
Yeah. I actually took I think I took like a mini section of it for videography for real estate or something like that. I can't remember, but I remember a lot of talking about the gimbal stuff, talking about the lenses and all this stuff and the movements and how to do a speed ramp, editing and like the basics you needed for real estate. And that was super helpful especially when I'd not edited any real estate video stuff before. I had done other kinds of editing, but I was like, a speed ramp? What is a speed ramp? Because in other industries, that's not, Talking Heads video, they're never going to go speed ramp it. Like, so yeah, there's definitely a different genre, and yeah, I found the same thing. That was a really cool course.
Yeah, I purchased the Course Creator Pro.
Oh, okay.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, he does a good
Course,
job.
too.
He does a really
He
good
does a
job.
great
So
job.
he also, I think, also studied some of the wedding stuff that they do too. I think at one
Mhm.
point, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's cool. So then, so do you do video production stuff now? Is that part of what you do in your business as well?
So I do have I don't really necessarily do a ton of like high-end like commercial or video work type of thing, but I mostly used it for real estate, for I do little small commercials for friends that have small businesses. A
Hmm.
friend of mine has an insulation company, so they do a lot of the spray and insulation and stuff like that. So I do a couple of videos for them every once in a while. Another just a couple of friends that have diesel and truck repair shops.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll do like stuff like that for them, just little videos, stuff like that. But the real estate video side helped me significantly. I think Rachel had to work with me a little bit just to kind of mold to her style for videos, but I already had that major understanding of doing videos for real estate from that course.
Yeah, that's cool. And so you still your business is mainly focused then on real estate stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah.
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 Cool. Cool. And how is it? How is the balance for you? I'm sure a lot of people listening to the podcast or have their own, maybe starting their own business, are curious about how that balance is and how's that feel? Do you like it? Is it difficult? What are the challenges with even just scheduling or, any of that? What's the kind of the first stuff that pops to your mind about that kind of scenario, but juggling that a little?
Are you talking about like scheduling with like Rachel and my own business type thing?
Yeah, yeah. Like I think that if I was thinking about doing it, I think I'd be like, oh, how am I going to go about this? Or, is it going to be difficult to manage both potentially? Or, am I going to have enough time? Maybe there's a concern like, will I have enough time to do my own thing? And has that ever been a problem at all?
It's been like little, not too much of a problem, but I've just kind of I'll look at my schedule. So if someone wants to do a video with me, I'll look at my schedule to see what I have in the next couple of days, or depending on when they want to do it, I'll just kind of look at my schedule to and figure out like how much time is their shoot going to take, how much time do I have that day, how much drive time, because here in the Seattle area, traffic is insane
Hmm.
lately. It's really bad. So I kind of just have to put all of that, factor all of that into scheduling kind of my own clients to for everything. So
Yeah. And do you have any kind of, Rach, is there any kind of like, because, generally independent contractors kind of make their own schedule, but is there any kind of like agreement that you go into like, hey, I'm going to need like 3 days a week from you or something like that? Or is it really just whatever you can do?
Well, I ask him what his availability is, and then he puts that into HD Photo Hub. So he can go in and change that anytime. So right now, I think you have it set from like 10 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday. And then Saturdays, he's available as well. So it's really up to him when he wants to work. If he wants to block off a day, he can go into HD Photo Hub and just block off that day. Or that if he needs to take a week vacation, he can block it off. And he'll give me a heads up. He'll be like, hey, I'm going out of town this week. And he's a contractor. He's not an employee. So I can't tell him when to work. He sets his own hours. I can't tell him, no, you can't go on vacation that week. I need you. Like, I mean, we can have a conversation. I'd be like, oh shit,
But
you're
can
going
you
to.
can
But
you can you request that they have a certain number of days at least to be able to
yeah,
work
I
for you,
mean,
that eventually if they're
yeah.
like, well, they only have one day a week that they're ever available, that eventually like,
Mhm.
hey, it's not working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if it started to get to that, we'd have a conversation. I'd be like, hey, like, what days are you available? I'm gonna have to hire another shooter, like because I'm gonna need to fill. Like I just pulled up the schedule in HD Photo Hub. And in June, one week he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 shoots in 6 days. So Colin's busy. I mean, he's doing the next week, he did 5 on Monday, 4 on Tuesday, 5 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, and 1 on Friday. So, I mean, I'm keeping him really busy.
Yeah, you are. Jeez.
And he doesn't have to worry about getting business. Like, this is the way I look at it. If I were a second shooter and I had a packed schedule like this, like it's guaranteed work almost. I mean, we have our slow times, but he's my number one. And I've always
Yeah.
told him, I'm like, if shit hits the fan and it gets really hard, I will carry you through. Like, it's you and me, buddy. We've been in this from the beginning. Like, no offense to my other shooters. I love them, but I will give the work to you priority because you've been with me the longest. So we
Right.
kind of have that agreement in place because there's times in the winter when like I could take every job, but I don't want Colin to starve. I also don't want Colin to go out and get another job, and then it would take away from something in the spring. So it's a little selfish, but at the same time, I want to help you out. You know what I mean? Like I don't want you to be
Yeah,
struggling.
it is a tricky balance. We were talking, Rachel and I talked about this just like in a conversation because I have a shooter here and he hasn't been getting booked as much. And I think it's because he was getting his master's for a while and didn't have much availability. So I think people just stopped looking at his availability. And so I'm trying to find ways to get him booked again. And that's some of the solutions. I'm like, I block my day a couple times just to try and force them to have to look at his availability. We've tried some like posts on social media like, hey, get a free marketing kit if you're booking Zach because Zach's back and his schedule's open and stuff like that. But it can be tricky to find that balance. And then I just had a conversation with him too, like, hey, I know you're not getting a lot of these, but do you want more shoots or do you not want more shoots? Because I'm just like, look, if you don't get booked, I need you to get in front of people so they remember and they see your work that, oh, you're great to work with, actually, not just Neil. So one of the things I'm like, all right, this is what we're going to do. He's taking a vacation for the 4th. After that, I'm like, when we come back, if you don't get booked, I'm just going to start giving you some of my shoots that I'm booked for and just tell them, sorry, conflict, but Zach's going to show up just so he gets in front of people again. So they start looking at him for scheduling again. So it is an interesting kind of juggling act you have sometimes when you have another shooter.
Yeah. And a lot of my clients know Colin. They either want me or Colin because they worked with both of us and they know the consistent work they're going to get from us. And I keep telling all my clients like, hey, they're all trained by me. We all shoot the same, but there are little slight differences between all of us. And some people just relate better with Colin than they do with with me or with one of the other shooters, So, and they build that rapport with them. It's nice to see the same person every time. So there's a lot of clients that even though I'm available, they'll still pick Colin, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
wow,
And you have
yay,
it set up that
working.
you have it set up that they can choose because there's also like an option that you could do a round robin or something, but you have it set up that choose everyone. I do too, but I've thought about that. Do I need to do a round robin to solve this problem? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I haven't looked into that feature before.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the other thing. It's like, well, yeah, there is one, but then you got to figure it out, right?
Yeah. No, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. It's working. It's fine. Yeah. So
well,
one
Colin,
of my other, I wanted
sorry,
to tell this story real quick about a shooter because I think this is important for communication. So my other shooter has been working with me for about 2 years, or working for me for 2 years, and he's started getting really busy. Like I've been giving him a lot of shoots and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I know he has his own business. He also works for Amazon doing product stuff. So I know he's busy, right? And so I reached out and I was like, hey, is the load okay? Like fully expecting him to say like, I need to pull back. Like it's been too much. But he said, no, actually my wife is no longer employed. And so she's going to take some time off and I'm able to carry the load. And he's like, so bring it on, like give me as many as you can. And I was like, okay, sweet. Good. Because I'm adjusting my hours and Mondays are going to be, I'm not working Mondays anymore, which is one of our busy days. So I told him you're going to have extra work on Mondays. But it was pretty cool to hear him say like his wife carried him through 2020, like early 2020, when he didn't have his business up and running yet. She was making the majority of the money. And now he's like, now the script's flipped and I'm able to provide and do that. And that just made me feel so good. I was like, doesn't that feel so good knowing that you can like provide for your family and you're comfortable and it's okay? And he was like, yes, you have no idea. I'm like, no, I get it. I've been there. That's awesome. So even being a second shooter, my shooters are making good money. Like when I pay you guys out some weeks, I'm like, goodness, you guys are making bank. Like we make close to the same, not gonna lie. Because they're out there working hard 5 days a week. I'm down to 3. I don't care. I'm tired. I'll give it to you guys. Take it. But yeah, it was kind of a cool thing to hear that he was able to do that. So
do you have any favorite things about working for Rachael versus when you're working for your own thing, or any likes or dislikes either way?
So I'd say like the biggest thing is not having to worry about the back end and just being able to go take the photos, go home, upload, send them off, and I'm done. Sometimes agents don't really understand that I'm the one that just takes the photos and Rachael and the back end crew kind of takes care of everything on the back end. So sometimes we kind of have to explain that a little more to them. But it's nice not having to worry about that and just being able to go out, shoot, come home, upload, send, be done. The downside is probably just like the profit side, not getting, like if I shoot for my own clients, all I pay is just the editing costs, and that's it. Everything else is my profit. So it's probably just that side, but it's really not that big of a deal in my eyes, because it's the extra time that I get back being able to just be a better, second shooter and just sending everything off and being done.
Yeah, no, and and that is the nice thing about doing that stuff too, is also not only that, but also, when the work's just handed to you, you didn't even have to get the work. You're like, oh, I'm going to 3 shoots. That's awesome. I think I would pick up. I would call it picking up shifts because I'm a waiter, but I have or was for like 20 years. But yeah, if I was watching, I'd pick up a shift. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you don't want
And
to work? I'll do it.
and
Perfect.
one thing is, and for a lot of FMC clients, a lot of them, like what Rachel was saying, they'll choose me because they like my work, they like me, they like how I shoot and everything. And as far as my own clients, I have never done a single bit of marketing. I hardly ever post on anything on social media with my
Mm.
real estate side, which I absolutely should. I should do it more. Almost every single one of my clients has been from just word of mouth saying, "Oh, hey, you shot for this person last year, and they recommended me to you." And
Yep.
so that I recently just got 2 more clients just from that. And it's more I look at my own clients as just more supplemental to shooting for Rachel and FMC.
I'm a little curious about some of the training stuff. I know you'd mentioned sort of briefly that Rachel helped you out was, kind of honing the skills for real estate focused video work. If somebody else is starting out with that as a service, or they're going to be an independent contractor and that's a service they have to do, and maybe they're nervous about it, what do you think are some of the tips that helped you kind of make that adjustment that'd be helpful to them?
But the biggest thing I would say is maybe try and for someone that's just starting out is maybe try and find another shooter to either shoot for or ask them have send your shoots to that person to ask them, hey, I'll pay you like $20 to just go through my folder, go through my photos to see what should I change, what should I improve, what just kind of ask them questions if they're willing to kind of provide that help. The thing that has taught me the most is obviously through Rachel and just kind of just critiquing each shoots in the beginning. Just repetition has been the biggest thing for me. Just doing shoot after shoot, looking through them afterwards or in the middle of it, and just seeing what I can improve from each one. And I'm still little things that I change, little things that I improve on, even to this day. After I've probably shot well over 1,000 homes at this point,
Mm-hmm.
right close to 2,000.
Yeah, and when I do a critique, I use Loom, which is a screen recording program where you can see a little bubble with my face in the corner, and then it records my screen. So when I'm doing a critique of an interior video, I'll just watch the video and I'll pause it and I'll say, hey, this movement was repetitive to the other one. Like, we want to switch up our movements so that it doesn't feel like the same you're pushing in on every clip, right? Something like that. So it's a good way it's like hands-on teaching, like the best you can do without sitting next to someone and showing them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Colin, you and I haven't done a ton of on-site training together. Really. Not much
I
at
think
all. Maybe like, I
twice
don't,
in the beginning.
yeah,
And
really
that
minimal.
like how I learn, I don't. If you tell me to do something, what? I do not learn by being told. I learn by
Well, this
seeing
is good to
someone
know.
seeing someone do something, or looking at other people's work to see how they're doing it, like in a video or something like that. I'll see like their movement or something like that. I learn that way by seeing someone. I don't even know what kind of learning process that's called, but it's just,
Visual learner.
yeah, seeing someone else do something and then doing it that way, or instead of being like, if someone was trying to give me directions somewhere, turn here,
Right.
turn here, turn here.
Yeah. It doesn't stick. Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I'm glad I learned this 3 years later.
Well, but you show him in video,
I
that
do.
video
Yes.
format would work for him. But he's just saying, if you like sent him an email and said, hey, 3 seconds in here, you should pan to the left and zoom in, it wouldn't stick. He needs to see it. Yeah.
Totally.
It's a good point. Yeah. Because then a lot of times we do give notes in that or on a phone call or something like that. And that just may not be effective for anybody. So it's a good thing to mention for sure.
Yeah.
I think that Loom is a good system for sure.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely awesome. And clients love it too. We've talked about this in the past, but
Yeah.
sending a little Loom
I've
video
never
of
used
like,
Loom, but I just use like a screen recording thing. But yeah,
yeah, that
same
works too.
idea.
Okay. What about any systems that we have in place that make your job easier?
Definitely. So Dropbox is the biggest asset, but the biggest pain in our ass.
Right.
Why is
It has
that?
to be so difficult.
It's uploading is fine. Sending jobs off to editors is fine, but it's there sometimes it just feels slow. Their website feels very slow, and it'll like screw up sometimes,
Or it
like
will like
you'll
miss, it'll say like it missed 10 files and you have to go through because it's random
Oh,
and you have to go
that's
through
a
and make sure they're all
nightmare.
there. Or like my computer says insufficient energy or something, like it'll be uploading and I'll have two other screens open and it says it's like for efficiency reasons, it like shuts down and stops uploading. So then you have to like
What?
re-upload the rest of it's just annoying. It's
Oh
like all these little
no.
glitchy things. And I'm like, why does it do this? Oh, and sometimes we share the Dropbox link, which my editor has access to this shared folder. It shouldn't be a problem. And it's like Dropbox error. He's like, I can't access the files. I'm like, I don't know why. And then I just copy and paste the same link and it works. He's like, oh, it works now. I'm like, okay,
and
zero
strange.
sense. There's no
like
logic here.
we'll sometimes use Google Drive, but
Yeah.
for some reason they aren't able to use it or something. Google Drive is way better. We can set it up almost exactly the same, but for some reason they aren't able to use it for whatever
Really?
reason. Yeah.
Oh, I know why it
Well,
is.
our video editor uses it.
Well, I use Google Drive.
Yeah. Well, you would because you use my video editor for your photo editor.
Yeah.
We're not
And
saying
I
names on the podcast. We are keeping
well,
these people secret.
and everybody, even all my everybody that I've ever used that I had to share, I always did Google Drive. I've never done Dropbox. But I wonder if one of the big downsides to Google Drive that's really annoying is, let's say I don't know if this is the same, you tell me, but Google Drive, if I make a folder, I thought that if I made a folder, I was the owner of that folder, right? And so if somebody uploaded into that folder, it would stay with me. But that's not the case. If they upload the images, they're still like the primary original creator of those images. And if they make a subfolder in there, same thing. So it's kind of annoying that it says owner, whoever this,
Whoever added to it is
Bob
the owner. But why would that matter?
Bessie, I don't know.
What does that affect?
Well, it's a good question. I remember just why was it? It was it's a problem because the storage falls on them. And I
Oh,
wanted the storage to fall on me. And that's why I created those folders so that just upload it into my folder, but it's really their responsibility for the files. And if they run out of space, they want to delete that. And I want
right.
to keep it as a backup.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And
So
I think Dropbox is the same way though, because our editor always tells me, oh, my Dropbox is full. Can you delete your folder or your files? Because I don't ever delete the files. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Just have to go back.
So I think that's why, if I remember correctly. But anyway,
Yeah.
But so I don't know. But
I think
I thought that
Dropbox
was
is
weird.
expensive. I think I pay like $700 a year for Dropbox for
wow.
like 3 or 4 licenses or something, unlimited, but still, it
Yeah.
feels like a lot. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
that's a
think
lot.
Google Drive might be cheaper,
I think
probably.
so. I don't know what my storage, I can't remember my storage space, but it is warning me again, like I've got to upgrade again.
Now you're at $20 a month, Neil. Pretty soon you'll be at 50 and we'll be paying the same.
I don't know what I pay. It's not $20 a month, I don't think. Yeah. Anyway. So Colin, I want to know the dirt, the real. I feel like Alex.
Yeah, let's
was
get real
just
for a minute.
Too
Just tell the
sweet.
stories.
He was too like.
Alex is
Rachel's
so kind.
Perfect.
Well, okay.
We-
Let's just put it into context. Like Alex has really only been shooting with me for like a year, and he only actively shot for me every Monday for maybe 3 or 4 months. So Alex really hasn't been on the team or through nearly as much as Colin and I have.
Right. You guys been through thick and thin.
All of it.
Right,
Yeah.
from the get-go. Yeah, I want to know, like, in the beginning, especially after that, after the transition of working for somebody else, working to Rachel, was there any difficulties there, or was it really seamless? Or, what do you think? Here's the hard question. What could be better?
Like, I think in the beginning, Rachel she'd never had other, no one else shoot for her. So it's her learning to train someone to work with someone that is shooting for her. So I was kind of the test dummy,
the guinea pig.
The guinea pig, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also, I had never worked for someone like her before. I'd always worked for a large employee I'd worked for a couple of different car dealerships as a service advisor. So it's completely different for the both of us. We probably butt heads at the beginning. At the first year or so, we probably did a little bit, but I mean, that kind of comes with the territory, with me learning real estate and her learning to train someone to shoot real estate. So it's kind of that give
Yeah,
and
and
take.
it's a really fair point too, because I'm just starting to do the same thing where I have some people being booked for me and I don't have all the things ironed out. When all you've ever done before is maybe work for some big company that every form was already created and
Mhm.
they've got all this stuff in place. Yeah. And then you work for me where I'm like, oh, yeah, let me write up a quick doc for you on how to do Matterport. You know what I mean? Like, and the things that I think are important about Matterport are the things they won't tell you in the Matterport video that are going to screw you on site.
Mhm.
And that's like, I'm like, the guy's like in the field and I'm actively writing it up as like, okay. Yeah.
Here you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I think the first year, like learning how to be a leader and learning how to communicate what I need to communicate in a nice way. Sometimes I'm a pretty blunt, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm blunt. I don't have a filter. I just say what I want to say. I mean,
same.
I try to like, you know, but it's hard when you're running around with your head cut off, trying to do way too much, bringing new people in. Like it was absolutely insane. So thanks for sticking it out. We ironed
Yeah.
out. We made it through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, you found a good one. If you made it
Yeah.
through that part of it all, you got your soldier, right?
Yeah, for sure. For
That's
sure.
cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And when COVID hit, I'm like, whatever happens, you're coming with me. We'll figure it out. We'll make money somehow, Colin. Like, don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You
Yeah,
got
that
to
was
be able, and you got to be able to pivot a little bit. You got to be able to make adjustments. You got to,
mm,
and I think as a leader doing this stuff, you're gonna figure stuff out that didn't work, and you got to be able to adjust and try to make it work. And you know, and I'm sure that's a little bit of being the contractors too. Is you got to be able to adjust a little bit. If you can't give it all, it's probably not going to be an ideal situation for either parties, right? Well, I don't know. I thought I found this pretty interesting information. I hope that'll be helpful for other people, whether they're thinking about being an independent contractor for somebody or they're thinking about trying to get people on the team. I think a lot of this would be valuable information. So,
for sure. Do you
yeah.
have any funny stories or horror stories, Colin, that you want to share?
Ooh, I love that.
Every other week, it seems like.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, let's get a funny story and a horror story. Your top,
So
your top ones.
I'll have three actually. I'll have
Ooh.
three. So one, not much of a horror story, but me getting into a car accident on the way to a shoot, totaling my car,
Oh.
and I called the agent, and she's like, "You were in a what?" She's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Car's totaled, but
Did you come
I'm
running down the street with your tripod and shirt torn
no,
and still did the shoot?
no."
Uh,
But yeah, I was like, I called Rachel. I'm like, I got in a car accident. You're probably gonna have to go shoot her listing.
Oh my God.
he sent me a picture of his car. I'm like, oh no. And you loved that car.
Oh, I
Oh,
love that
So
car.
sad.
I unfortunately still haven't. It's just sitting in the garage rotting away.
what is it? What is it?
It's a 2002 BMW 330i, and I'll include a photo of it so you guys if the for the
Yeah, that
video part of
I
the
don't know a
podcast.
lot about BMWs, but that doesn't sound great. That sucks.
It was
Yeah,
pretty rare.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was blue.
it's blue.
I
It was
actually took a
blue.
photo of it. I was out on a shoot. It was like early July or mid July or something like that. I took a photo of it, and the next week, same angle, totaled.
Oh.
That was a
Well, at
rough
least
one.
you have a good before and after photo, right?
Yep, exactly.
Are you technically inclined? Are you gonna work on it and fix it or
I've been it's
mechanically inclined?
I am pretty mechanically inclined. I've done like I'm a car guy, absolutely a car guy.
Oh, okay.
So I've been wanting to fix it, but I have a single car garage, so it's not I don't really have the space to be able to do it. So I've honestly just been trying to like find a one of a similar vehicle to where I can either just like swap parts over or something like that and just go with the new one rather than trying to fix this one, which would require a frame straightening machine, and it'd be
Mm.
just kind of too much work
Oh, wow.
for
That's a
someone
lot.
that works like 60, 80 hours a week already.
How much are you shooting again? Should I relook at your schedule? You can adjust that at any time. You don't
Well,
have to work 12 hours every day.
Slave driver.
I'm not forcing him to do
We
it.
finally found the truth.
Total
well, I mean,
voluntary, right?
my
She
first
makes
shoot
me.
is normally like 10 a.m. So like I leave my house at like 9 or 9:30, and then I'm shooting until 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock sometimes. With if we're doing like a twilight shoot, it's a little bit later than that, and so you're uploading from When you get home at like 8, between 8 and 9 or something like that, till 11:30 at night. So it's a lot of work.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Long
that was a
day.
horror story, but what any other? You said 3 stories.
So number 2, I had just finished a long day of shooting from like 9 a.m. to, and it was a twilight shoot, so it was a 12-hour just of shooting day already. Coming home at like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock at night. I come home to I had a keyless entry, the door padlock, and they were doing pressure washing at my condo complex. They took the pressure washer to my door, the entire door, and sprayed the lock itself also. And I'd probably just installed it not that long before that, or like a month or two before that, so I didn't have a physical key to be able to get in. So I had to call a locksmith at 10:30 at night. They didn't get there until midnight. So they're drilling. I have videos on my phone of them drilling the cylinder at midnight. So I felt so bad for my neighbors. Luckily, no one said anything. But
sorry, everybody, but I gotta upload these files.
yeah, like it was so.
Oh, and then
bad.
you're up till 2 in the morning, no doubt. Oh man, that's rough.
Ugh.
That was a
And
fun night.
number 3.
Number 3 was recently, and this one's on Rachael. So I had a shoot down in the Sumner area, and then the next shoot was up in Seattle. It was just a drone, supposed to be a drone shoot. Went up there, an hour through traffic, basically through Seattle traffic. Did the drone shoot. I don't think I didn't knock on the door for it, but it was just a lot of times agents will have us do just drone shoot, or just drone photos of like a dilapidated listing or something like that, where it's not that nice of a house inside, so they just want the outside photos. Went and did that. I was real close to the house, getting like up close kind of photos and everything. So
Oh no, I think I know where
of
this
someone's
is
house,
going.
and then I'm on my way back home to just like grab lunch or something like that, because my next shoot was until a couple hours later. Get a text from the agent saying, "Oh yeah, we're here in Renton."
Oh my god.
Renton is like an hour, 45 minutes south from where he was. So yeah, so we had to go down and do the shoot.
That's
So
where I thought.
here's what happened.
That's where I thought this was going. You totally were on the totally wrong house.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I get to the shoot. I have my drone in hand. It's like, hey, this is kind of an area where I can only go up 50 feet from the Renton airport. I can only go up 50 feet right here, but I can do 200 feet away, looking towards the water, which would be more ideal. He's like, oh yeah, no, we just wanted standard photos. It was already 5 minutes after 4, and I had another shoot in Snoqualmie at 5.
Which is
So
like another hour drive the other direction.
So I had to shoot an entire 1,800 square foot home within, I think, like less than 25 minutes. So I run back over to my truck, get my stuff, run back over, shoot the entire home. The agent was all super apologetic and everything. I'm like, no, it's not your fault.
Oh my
Rachel's fault.
gosh,
So
that's murder.
We have had like this week was really slow. On Monday, I think we only had 5 shoots booked for the whole week. I was like, where is everyone at? And then this agent texts me and he said, hey, I tried to book online, but there's no availability on Thursday. And I'm like, we have plenty of availability. What is he talking about? So I'm like, oh, just send me the address and I'll put it in. He goes, we got a new lot list that we need photos of. So lot, like it's a lot. He just needs drone photos. I didn't even ask. I just figured from the text, lot list, which was weird verbiage. Anyway, so he gave me the address. So in HD Photo Hub, you type in the first part of the address and then it'll populate the cities, but you don't really see it. So I just clicked on the first one, which was Seattle. They had the exact same address in Renton. So, and then I, put it in, whatever. And we send a confirmation email. Obviously, you didn't read it, which is whatever. I don't read mine half the time either. No fault there. But yeah, that's what happened. So it was just brutal. When Colin called me, I was taking a nap. He called me and I didn't answer for like, I think I called you back like 30 minutes later. You're like,
just was hiding in the closet.
I didn't even tell you I was taking a nap. So I'm like, that's just going to really piss him off. He's like, I went to Seattle to that shoot and it was the wrong address. It's in Renton. He goes, and then I sat in, he was so mad. I was like, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
I've had that feeling one time.
2 days
One
ago.
time I was in
Oh,
the
yeah, I was like,
backyard at a vacant house and I was taking shots, and all of a sudden I see somebody walk, like I was in the woods because there was this weird, like there was like I think a stone wall or something. So I was actually in the woods trying to get the stone wall in the foreground and then the yard and the house. So you didn't really see me. Somebody comes walking in the backyard. I'm like, oh my God, I've been shooting the wrong house this whole time.
it's
And
terrible.
it wasn't actually, it was just the nosy neighbor coming by, because he saw my car parked down the street and he was just coming to see why there was somebody in the yard, because he was like watching out for his neighbor who wasn't, they were like on vacation or something but it was
Mm.
actually at the right house. But I've had that exact feeling like, oh my God. Oh, and then, oh, here's another one. One time I was going to a shoot, and I know most of the agents that I work with regularly, I can recognize their car, right? So I'm coming down the road and I see the car in front of me, like, oh, I think that's Tommy's truck. He's got a black pickup truck, and I don't know the license plate, but that's giving it away a little bit. But geez, I'm following him. Takes a right, and I think that's him. Yeah, to take another right. Oh, take another right. We're in the neighborhood. Oh, this is him. Oh, right. I don't pay close attention to the street number, but we're on the street of the house at this point after a couple rights. Totally uncanny that is not Tommy, but I followed this truck right into their driveway and hopped out of the car and walked up to the car all like how I am, like hand out like, hey, Tom, you're not Tommy. How are you? Hey, I'm a real estate photographer, and this isn't where I'm supposed to be.
You know pretty quick when you knock on the wrong door because they look at you like,
Like, what are you? Who are you?
the
Why
heck are you?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. That
Yeah,
guy was totally, but the funny thing was, yeah, he was just kind of like, hey man, like totally chill. And for a second I was like, are these the homeowners? And I'm like, no, no, right. I'm totally the wrong place.
Totally my
Yeah. Hilarious.
So just for the teams out there, or if you're, leading a team, when things like this happen and I send Colin to do a drone shoot, I'm like, charge me for a drone shoot. That was my fault. Just charge me whatever you need to charge me, Colin, for your time. I'm really sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be better.
That was a rough day for sure. I think, was that on the 16th? Because I think I heard someone yelling, Rachel.
That was 2 days ago. That was on Wednesday. Because that was
Wednesday,
I had a bad day Wednesday. Everything went wrong Wednesday. It was like one bad thing after the next. I was like, oh, I hate this day. My husband's like, I have to tell you a story. So my husband sent me a reel about a guy who was explaining how like marriage is not 50-50. Like some days your wife may be like at 70% and husband might be at 30%, but you need to communicate that to each other. Like if you've had a bad day and you come home and you're at 20% and you get home and your husband expects you to be all happy and chipper, like you're going to disappoint him, right? So it's not 50-50. So just communicating that to each other. So he comes up to me, I'm having this bad day, everything's going wrong, like everything, my goodness. And he's like, don't worry, babe, I got your 50. And I'm like, no, I need you to have my 90 right now. Like I'm at a 10. This is not a good day.
That's
I like
funny.
that. I like that.
That's
I like that he joked about it too, but he needed to give me more than 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Anyways.
Well, cool, man. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for being on the podcast, Colin. This has been fun, dude.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you shared those stories. Those were awesome.
Yes. Everyone likes to hear the good story. At first, I'm
Sick.
like,
Well,
don't tell it. Do not.
yeah.
But I am
We
human.
finally got a little bit of dirt. There's too much niceness, you know? So
Oh,
it's
whatever.
good.
No, I was sitting here with Abel and I'm like, I get so mad at myself because I'm like, dang it. And he's like, Rachel, you're human. I'm like, I know. But still, it's annoying.
Yeah.
I just hate
No.
putting people out and making them do stupid shit when it's on me.
get it.
I'm
I
like,
get it.
I know what the stress of traffic is like. That's not very nice. I didn't do it intentionally, Colin. Promise. Wouldn't do
I
that.
even went through the good to go like tunnels and everything too, through the Seattle tunnel, so I
Oh,
paid that.
Well, charge me for that too then. It's gonna be like a $300 bill.
It's going to
Damn
be a
it.
doozy of an invoice that day.
I won't make that mistake again. I'm gonna clarify.
Well, that's one thing also for agents too, is give us the exact address down to like if it's an apartment or condo number, how to access the property.
It says
And
right on the order form. Will you be there? How do we get in? First
Right.
question.
all the time happens all the time.
I know.
And
How do I
here's
get
one.
in?
Yeah, and here's one. If there is a lockbox, let's go ahead and put a key in it.
Yeah, that's a really annoying.
Had that happen a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah, totally.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
Well, cool, Colin. Thanks for being on the show, man. Rach, a pleasure
Yep.
as always. I love
real.
meeting the the power team.
All right, Colin, where can they find you? One more time, Instagram handle, ready, go.
So personal is Colin_Farrell. I said Colin Farrell earlier, but it's Colin_Farrell. But also Colin McAvoy Photography.
Love it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks for being amazing, Colin. You've been a great
Cool.
addition.
Absolutely.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
Bye, guys.
Bye. We'll
Bye.
see you in the next one.